Welcome back to DFC Books. We're here again, ready to really dig into some rich source material and pull out the core ideas, giving you that shortcut to, understanding the heart of the matter.
And today we're diving deep into Gianluca Gotto's novel, Succede, sempre, qualcosa, meraviglioso. That translates roughly to something wonderful always happens. And this isn't just like a travel book. It's really more of a guide almost to completely reinventing yourself.
Right, and the focus of this deep dive is that central idea, that philosophy behind this story of, well, rebirth. The book really promises this kind of universal happiness, doesn't it? Finding that feeling of being truly at home wherever you are, no matter what's going on outside.
Exactly. We follow Davide. He's our protagonist, a young architect. Life seems perfectly planned out, and then it just completely collapses. Everything. And his journey afterwards, it's not really his own plan. It's driven by this mysterious final request from his grandfather, who is kind of the one stable rock in his life.
So you're basically going to see how a trip to Vietnam turns into this almost necessary spiritual intervention for him. It's quite a transformation. Okay, let's start with Davide before everything went wrong, because the sources paint a really clear picture, right? He's the image of, like, modern ambition.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's this super dedicated architectural intern, put in the time, 5 years art school, 5 years university, then 6 intense months at this big firm. He'd done the work.
And it was all leading up to this one thing.
The permanent contract.
Yeah.
Described as a 99% certainty.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a job for him, it was validation. 10 years of effort,
Yeah.
all focused on reaching this peak.
And his family. Supportive, but maybe a bit complicated.
Yeah, his mother is presented as this very loving, but also really apprehensive figure, almost reflecting his own high stakes. And his father, well, he's less in the picture. New family, new wife, couple of young kids. So Davide's world is built on these high expectations, but maybe some fragile foundations too.
But the grandfather, he was different.
He was the constant, described as a light but constant presence. This was reinforced by that weekly call, right? Every Sunday, 9 p.m.
Always ending with that same assurance.
For any problem, I'm here, Davide. Simple, but huge. It was like this unspoken guarantee against life, really.
Which makes the collapse even more dramatic. It starts almost ironically, doesn't it? His birthday wish?
Oh, yeah. He blows out the candles and just wishes for everything to stay the same.
Talk about tempting fate.
Right. It's almost like he challenged the universe, which, as we know, is all about change. And bam, things immediately start to fall apart.
First, blow the job. Chapter 3 lays this out.
That 99% certainty, gone. Just like that.
Yeah.
The permanent contract falls through. His whole professional identity, his success story, crushed.
And then almost immediately after.
The personal hit. Valentina, his girlfriend, she ends it. Just looks him in the eye, says she no longer feels anything.
Ouch. And the timing she mentions is just brutal.
It really is. She says the feeling vanished right when they decided to move in together. So it wasn't just the relationship, it was the idea of permanence, of stability that seemed to kill it.
For Davide, who just lost his career anchor.
It felt like, and this is a quote, the void digging inside me down to the soul. Both anchors, professional and personal, just gone.
And that leads him down a pretty dark path.
Oh yeah. Deep depression sets in.
Yeah.
He abandons architecture completely, quits basketball, cuts himself off from friends. He really dives into that victim mentality.
Yeah.
Life's unfair, the world is against him.
Convinced nobody gets it.
Exactly. The black cloud metaphor comes up. But he still talks to one person.
The grandfather.
Right. The Nano just listens.
Yes.
No easy fixes, just empathy. And the grandfather, he knew about sudden loss. We learned about his own tragedy.
Losing Davide's grandmother just weeks before he was supposed to retire.
Yeah, a congenital heart problem. Totally unexpected. He was apparently destroyed. Everyone thought he wouldn't recover.
But then something strange happened.
The mystery. He takes on 6 more months of work, these long, distant trips. And he comes back. Changed. A new man. Full of this, inexplicable peace and love. But he never told anyone what happened on those trips.
Get that refusal to explain that really hangs over the story.
It absolutely does. It's a core enigma. Meanwhile, Davide's world keeps shrinking. Then comes chapter 7, the silence.
The Sunday 9 p.m. call, he misses it.
Yeah, that's the big alarm bell. Davide and his mom go to his house, and it's unsettling. Gas left on, pot burning, cupboard open, like he left in a huge hurry mid-task.
Which leads to chapter 9, the hospital.
The grandfather's clearly not well. Disoriented, memory failing, can't remember simple things. But then a flash of clarity.
Focused right on Davide's sadness.
And he gives him that first piece of, well, really weird advice. He says, you think too much, and makes him promise.
The bicycle thing?
When you're sad, take the bicycle and pedal until it passes. His logic. When you're pushing hard, you can't think about anything else. You're forced into the now. It's like involuntary mindfulness.
The strange kind of wisdom that may be profound.
Maybe. But time runs out. Chapter 10. The grandfather dies. 3 days later, in his sleep.
For Davide, already at rock bottom.
It feels like the latest injustice. He starts questioning everything. The meaning of life, the unfairness of dying after working so hard.
But he keeps that promise, right? The bicycle.
He does, almost immediately. Needs to earn money anyway, so he becomes a food delivery rider. Taking 2 birds with 1 stone, as the book puts it. Using that force peddling to cope and to honor his word.
And then comes the final piece from the grandfather, the wool.
To the notary's office, Davide gets 3,000 euros and this mysterious package. Inside, a sealed yellow envelope and a handwritten letter.
With a very strange request.
Deliver the sealed envelope, personally, to an old friend named Guglielmo in Vietnam.
Vietnam, okay. That's unexpected.
To say the least. And the family reaction is exactly what you'd expect. Total skepticism. His mother, his aunt, they call it the delirium of a sick man. Just spend the money on yourself, they say. Get a new phone, fix your bike. And legally, they're right. He didn't have to go to get the cash.
But someone pushes him in the other direction.
His friend Luigi asks him that killer question.
Oh.
What do you have to lose?
And Davide realizes.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No job, no girlfriend. His mom's about to go on vacation. He's completely free in a way, untethered.
And this mission, this crazy request, starts to feel like something else.
A purpose.
Yeah.
Something to hold on to, a way to honor his grandfather's trust. Plus that little fantasy of just starting over somewhere new. He feels like this could be it. But he needs proof. Is this Guglielmo guy even real?
So he searches. Chapter 15 gives us this detail.
He goes through his grandfather's stuff. Nothing. Checks the library again, the half-empty shelves. Finds this thick old book. Opens it.
And inside?
A photograph. His grandfather, younger, with another man. And the caption, me and Guglielmo.
There it is. Confirmation.
That's the turning point. It's real. The quest is real. So he takes the entire 3,000 euros money that could have helped him in Milan and buys a one-way ticket. Russian airline to Vietnam.
And he feels relieved.
Surprisingly, yes. Happy to leave behind what he calls a life full of suffering. He realizes he had no reason to stay.
But Vietnam isn't exactly a gentle landing, Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh, it's a shock to the system. He goes from orderly Milan to pure chaos. Noise, traffic, the language barrier. The book calls it a hell for someone as timid and insecure as he still is. He feels completely overwhelmed.
And his choice of accommodation doesn't help.
No, he booked this place sight unseen, basically. Dilapidated hotel, red dragon sign outside. Didn't even realize it was smack in the middle of Chinatown.
Yeah.
Just adds to the disorientation.
Then comes that moment with the street food.
Yeah.
Trying to connect, trying to just eat.
Yeah, total failure. He tries to order, but the elderly cook just shakes her head. No English. He can't even manage basic communication.
Right.
Feels utterly humiliated, powerless.
And the irony isn't lost on him.
Not at all. He ends up retreating to his room and ordering fast food delivery. From an English-speaking writer. The former delivery guy in Italy, feeling exploited, is now getting food delivered by someone in a similar position. That recognition hits hard.
Things have to get better, right?
Thankfully, yes. The shift comes in chapter 21, Arrival into Lot.
And the vibe is totally different.
Completely. It's cool, quiet, mountainous. A huge contrast to Ho Chi Minh. David actually starts to feel some peace. He notices the locals seem calmer, less pushy.
It's like the landscape itself is starting to work on him.
Exactly. It prepares him for the big meeting. Chapter 22. He gets to the guest house.
And he knows him instantly.
Instantly. Gilly recognizes him from the photo, notes he hasn't seemed to age at all, describes his peaceful smile, long hair, beard, black clothes, and walking barefoot. The detail stands out.
Gilly invites him in, sets the tone immediately.
With tea, establishes rule number 1, never deny a hot tea to a traveler. Then the shoe thing.
Right, take off your shoes.
Gilly explains why. Shoes collect the dirt, the suffering of your life. Taking them off respects the house as a sacred space. It's David's first tiny lesson in letting go, in non-attachment.
And then the moment's truth. The envelope.
David A. hands it over. Gilly also reads the letter David brought, the one from the Nano, instructing David to basically trust Gilly completely. Do everything he asks. Listen. You'll understand in time.
How does Gilly react?
He reads it very slowly, very intently. Then he looks up at the sky. Davide gets this strong feeling Gilly's looking for his grandfather up there. It's a heavy moment.
So the mission delivered. Now what?
Now the real journey begins. But Gilly doesn't offer a map or a plan. He just says they're going on a journey. No destination specified.
And Davide the architect must hate that.
Oh, he resists immediately. Needs the blueprint, right? Questions the whole idea. And Gilly's response is brilliant. He stays totally calm. Ian agrees, yeah, trusting me is probably crazy. I would not trust me, he says.
Disarming.
Totally. And then he introduces that core idea. Yeah. Control what you can control. Tells Davide he's not there because of logic, but because of something deeper, his deepest essence that made him keep the promise. Says rational thinking only brought him pain. Now it's time for something else.
Time to stop thinking and start living.
That's exactly it. Chapter 26 is where Davide commits. Gilly pushes him. And part of that push involves a powerful motorcycle.
Forcing him to confront his fear.
Physical fear, insecurity about control. It's like therapy on wheels. And Gilly starts linking the physical and emotional sadness affects the lungs, anger, the liver, shifting Davide's focus inward. It's not the world that's broken, it's his reaction to it.
Then comes the big reveal, the grandfather's story.
In Neutrang, chapter 29, they're by the sea, Gilly finally tells him the Nano's biggest regret.
Which was?
He'd always dreamed of moving east, living a simpler, more adventurous life. But instead, he took a big promotion. High salary, company car, fancy office. The whole package.
Why? If you wanted something else.
Fear. Fear of failure, sure, but mostly fear of what people would say, that I told you so. He couldn't face the potential judgment.
And that choice had consequences.
Huge ones. More stress, less time with his wife. He got so caught up in the career track that he only tried to book that world trip, which had been her secret dream all along right before she died.
The guilt must have been unbearable.
Crushing. He apparently reached suicidal despair. And that's when Gilly met him, on a beach in Cap Bea, at his lowest point.
And the grandfather asked Gilly
to tell Davide this story, to make sure Davide didn't make the same mistake, choosing societal approval over genuine happiness. Gilly puts it starkly. You can fail perfectly well, even doing the right thing, meaning chasing success can still lead to total spiritual emptiness if it's not your path.
Wow, that really reframes everything.
It does. And it leads into Gilly's own philosophy, which he learned from his Zen master, Taro. Turns out Gilly had his own struggles with depression, suicidal thoughts. Doctors just treated symptoms, not the root cause.
What changed for Gilly?
Seeing a photo, a monk self-immolating. It made him think, if someone can control their mind to that degree, maybe he could control his own inner turmoil. That led him to Taro and these non-rules.
Which aren't really rules, right? More like guiding principles.
Exactly. And the first big one, the most important maybe, is "Si il fiume, non la roccia." Be the river, not the rock.
Explain that a bit.
Well, the rock just sits there, resisting the water. Creates friction, turbulence. That's suffering. The river flows, adapts, finds the path of least resistance. It embraces change. Davide, the architect needing plans, was the rock. Gilly wants him to be the river.
Makes sense. What else?
Another key one, especially for Davide, who felt like his world ended. L'abba ti fa capire che domani il sole sorgerà lo stesso. Basically, no matter how bad your failure feels, the world keeps turning. The sun still rises. It puts personal catastrophe in perspective.
That must have hit home.
And then the big one, non-attachment. You possess nothing and no one. Yourself is your only certainty. Directly challenges his grief over losing the job, losing Valentina. He was trying to hold on to things that were never truly his to keep.
These are heavy concepts to absorb on a motorcycle trip.
For sure. The journey continues to Hoi An. Beautiful place, colonial architecture, famous bridge. And there, chapter 35 context, he meets Hang again.
The woman from the restaurant.
Yeah. Gilly kind of nudges him towards her, sees a spark, maybe a chance for Davide to risk opening up again. Davide tries to play it cool, just being polite, you know?
But things get complicated. Chapter 37.
Right. They witness this drunk Western tourist being really abusive towards Hang, and Davide just snaps. All that pent-up frustration, he explodes, rushes in to defend her, causes a big scene.
Protective instinct, but maybe not the river approach.
Exactly. Gilly has to physically pull him back, tells him sternly to get control, and then he tells that story about the Buddha.
The one about the insults.
Yeah. Someone insults the Buddha, Buddha doesn't react. The man asks why. Buddha says, if I offer you a gift and you don't accept it, who does it belong to? Man says, me, the giver. Buddha says, exactly. I don't accept your insults.
So the lesson is?
If you don't accept the meanness, the poison remains in the mouth of the one who spoke it. By reacting with rage, Davide let the tourist control his emotions. The anger only hurt him and made things worse for Hang. A total failure of being the river.
Another hard lesson. Where does Gilly take him next to process this?
To Hugh. And he uses the place itself as a teaching tool. Talks about the Vietnamese people, how they fought invaders for centuries, endured so much suffering, yet they welcome former enemies, like Americans, with smiles.
Resilience.
Incredible resilience. And Gilly draws the parallel for Davide. He says, look, suffering after a point becomes a choice. The Vietnamese chose forgiveness, chose love over hate, and moved forward. They didn't let pride or grievance hold them back.
And the message for Davide.
Go forward. You are not leaving anyone behind. You are following the flow of life. Stop clinging to the pain. Stop being the victim. It's a choice to keep suffering over past hurts.
Powerful stuff. Okay, so he's learned about acceptance, non-attachment, controlling anger. What about purpose? Finding a direction.
That comes into focus in Hanoi, chapter 52. Gilly takes him to this specific Chinese restaurant. The name is significant. Zhengqiwa.
Which means?
The frog in the bottom of the well. It's that old parable, right? The frog thinks the well is the whole universe until the turtle comes along and tells it about the vast ocean outside.
A metaphor for limited perspective.
Exactly. And Gilly uses it to introduce ikigai, the Japanese idea, your reason for getting out of bed. He points out that most people are like the frog, just surviving, working for money, stuck in their little well.
And ikigai is about finding something more. The intersection of, what is it? 4 things.
Right. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. It's finding that sweet spot. And then Gilly drops another bombshell about the grandfather.
What was his ikigai?
In the end, after meeting Gilly, after facing his regret, his ikigai became his family. He made a promise to Gilly to go back and dedicate himself to them.
So that renewed presence, the constant love Davide felt, that was the grandfather living his ikigai, his redemption.
Precisely. It wasn't just about being a good grandfather. It was his active reason for being, his way of making amends for the life he didn't choose earlier.
Wow. Okay. So how does Davide find his ikigai?
That happens more organically through living in the present. In Phong Na, chapters 40 to 42, give us this beautiful example. Davide's bike gets a flat tire, a nail.
Bad luck. How does Gilly react?
He just accepts it. Total be the river moment. No frustration, no panic, just waits. Trusts the process. And by just being present, not fighting the situation, they meet Sid, who happens to be a former mechanic running a guest house nearby. Problem solved effortlessly. No struggle needed.
Living the philosophy.
Exactly. And then, chapter 42, Gilly pushes Davide creatively. Tells him to draw again. Not for money, not for praise. Just do it and just do it. Forget the outcome.
His old passion.
Yeah. He draws Bin, Sid's wife, and instantly he feels this calm wash over him. He's lost in the act of creation.
With flow state.
That's it. Gilly calls it the Zen way of entering the present. Like a gazelle running from a lion it can't worry about yesterday or tomorrow. It just runs here and now. And in that moment of drawing, Davide finds it.
He realizes drawing maybe caricatures. That's his ikigai.
It clicks. He loves it. He's good at it.
Yep.
It brings joy, which the world needs. And maybe eventually he could make a living. It fits all 4 circles.
Amazing. So one last big lesson seems to be non-attachment. How does Gilly drive that home?
On Monkey Island, chapter 53 context, a secret Zen temple. There's this woman, my master, who teaches purely through action.
What does she do?
Every single day she creates this incredibly intricate, beautiful sand mandala, spends hours on it, and then she destroys it, wipes it away.
Every day.
To demonstrate that life is nientaltro. Nothing else. Everything is impermanent. Beauty, effort, creation. It all changes, passes away. Don't cling to it.
Wow, that's stark.
It leads Gilly to the ultimate non-attachment lesson. You do not possess anything or anyone. If you think otherwise, you are deluding yourself. Applies to everything. Jobs, relationships even.
Even memories or physical remains.
Exactly. Which brings us to the climax, the real mission. Gilly takes Davide up high, overlooking this incredible valley.
And reveals the truth.
The grandfather's actual final wish, not just delivering a letter, he wanted Davide to mix his ashes with the grandmother's ashes and scatter them together right there in that valley.
Wait, the grandmother's ashes?
Yeah. Gilly pulls out this small carved wooden box. Turns out the Nano had kept her ashes hidden all those years, waiting, planning for this exact moment for Davide to reunite them.
That's incredible planning. Decades of holding on to that secret, that intention.
It shows the depth of his love, his final ikigai in action. But Devi hesitates. Old habits die hard. He feels like scattering the ashes means losing them forever.
Back to attachment.
Right. And Gilly gives him the final piece of wisdom he needs. Gently says, those ashes are not your grandparents. They're in your memories. That is just dust.
The essence isn't in the object.
It's in the love, the connection, the memories. Davide gets it. He mixes the ashes, releases them, feels this huge sense of liberation. And Gilly just says softly, love is the right answer to every question.
So the journey, the whole thing, it wasn't really about the grandfather's request in the end.
That's Davide's big realization, the light bulb moment. The grandfather wanted me to take this trip for me, not for him. It was all an elaborate, incredibly loving setup.
A final act of grandfatherly care, using Gilly as the guide.
Exactly. An extension of the Nana's family ikigai to heal Davide. And Gilly confirms his method was just to be the river himself. I accepted your every decision, he says. I did not oppose, I did not cause friction. He just allowed Davide's space to change.
So Davide returns to Italy. A changed man. Does he live differently?
Immediately. Starts putting the non-rules into practice. Sells old stuff, letting go of physical attachments, repaints his room, creating a new space. And crucially, when that architect job offer comes back, he turns it down.
Wow. Prioritizing happiness over the old definition of success.
Absolutely. And he starts drawing caricatures in the park, embraces the uncertainty, finds joy in his ikigai. Then he pays it forward.
With Luigi.
Yeah. Challenges Luigi, who dreams of cooking. Luigi hesitates, talks about practicality. Davide hits him with Gilly's wisdom. Life is not mathematics. It is poetry.
Love that line.
Me too. And they decide to take the leap together, move to New Zealand.
Does it work out? The epilogue, chapter 59?
It does. They land in Christchurch. Luigi becomes a successful pizziolo living his dream. Davide.
Yeah.
He actually goes back to architecture. But this time it's driven by passion, by the love of design itself, his ikigai, not by needing external validation.
Full circle, but on his own terms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's one loose end. 2 years later, he goes back to Vietnam.
Looking for answers. About Gilly. And Hang.
Yeah. Needs closure. But he can't find Gilly. The guest house is gone. Nobody remembers a Guglielmo Travi.
So, was Gilly even real?
The book leaves it beautifully ambiguous. Davide has to accept that maybe Gilly didn't exist in the way he thought, and he's okay with it. It's the final test of non-attachment, letting go of the need for concrete proof, controlling his own mind. That crazy monkey is finally in check.
But he does find Hang.
He does, in Hoi An. And the first thing he does is apologize for that angry outburst. Shows he learned the lesson. Hang admits she was scared back then, falling for a tourist who'd just leave. But now, they're both different.
A second chance.
Seems like it. Davide realizes he's in love, and he decides to pursue it, to take the risk his grandfather was too afraid to take, choosing love and connection over fear.
It all ties together.
Perfectly. On the flight home, Davide writes down those non-rules of tarot in his notebook, making them his own.
Remind us of the key ones again.
Togliti le scarpe shed the suffering, see il fiume flow with life. La rabbia non è mai una reazione accettabile. Anger poisons you. Tieni a bada la tua cimi impazzita. Master your mind. L'amore è la soluzione a ogni problema. Love is the answer. And the title itself, Succede, sempre qualcosa di meraviglioso. Something wonderful always happens.
And the ultimate lesson he takes away.
Standing solid, feet on the ground, but looking up, he finally gets Gilly's core message. If you learn to deeply love yourself, the universe around you, and life, something wonderful always happens, this moment, here and now.
So that transformation is complete, from the rock, the victim, to the river flowing confidently, all thanks to this incredible selfless act of love from his grandfather.
A final quest designed entirely to heal Davide's soul. And it really highlights that central conflict, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The grandfather's regret. Choosing safety, choosing the promotion, avoiding judgment, and dying spiritually empty because of it.
It really makes you think. And that brings us to the final thought for you listening out there. You have to weigh that core challenge, the one Davide's grandfather faced too late.
Is pursuing your ikigai, your real reason for being here, worth the risk? Worth the possibility of failure? Worth facing other people's judgment? Or is the bigger failure actually living a life dictated by fear, a life someone else chose for you?
Something to definitely mull over. Be the river, not the rock. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
We hope you found it insightful.
Until next time, we'll see you back at DFC Books.